Hello YouTubers, I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Amps. Actually it's bargain bin gear, but in this case we're talking about amps. So my bad. Let's try it again. Okay, I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. And in particular amplifiers. Alright, so last time I had discovered the Bugera V22 22 watt all tube amplifier. I was kind of knocked out by it. I thought, man, for the price, and it's just got this great clean channel. You know, now I don't know about the drive channel. I've actually never tried it. I just don't use the drive channel. In any case, it's a bargain for the price. Great sound quality. Has a built-in reverb that's decent, you know. Yeah, 3-band EQ, effects loop, if you're into that sort of thing. A presence as well. gain and master, standby switch, so on and so on. So I was just totally knocked out by it, especially for the price, And one of my favorite amplifiers is a little Fender X2 15-watt amp, that some people say, well, it's not a real tube amp, but guaranteed you take the tubes out of the amp won't function. So, in any case, so I went looking for another V22. Have two of them in stereo. Man, and I mean, you could play gigs with that easily. They're plenty loud, and I just, man, for the price, it's just hard to believe. Now, I found two amps, Bugera's V22s, that I was kind of interested in. And, well, I was a little concerned, because there's a V22, such as the one I was just playing, which is kind of the older version. It has a vintage red speaker, okay? And then there's an updated version, which is the V22 Infinium. It's kind of an updated version. Supposedly, the older ones, the non-Infinium ones, the V22, such as I have, supposedly have a chip in them that overheats. Now, luckily, I've never had that problem. Granted, I've only had the amp a few days, but I've just had no issues whatsoever. But I guess they were prone to that. I don't know. But that's what I heard. That's the rumor. So I guess Bugera, Behringer, came out with an updated version called the Infinium. And really, one of the big changes is, one, the speaker, right, to a turbo sound speaker. And it's kind of bluish, as opposed to red. That's how you can tell them apart very easily. So the red is the vintage and the blue is the turbo sound speaker. And on top of that, there's a couple other changes that I've seen. If you look on the back of the Infinium, there are two little LEDs, and basically it's the self-biasing of the tubes, right? And it will also tell you the health of the tubes, So as I went looking for the amplifier, fortunately they charge shipping. And unfortunately, by the time you add shipping and tax, you're kind of up there, price-wise, for a used amplifier. And a lot of these had, if any warranty at all, it was like 45 days or something like that. So I was thinking, well, I don't know, it's kind of iffy. Not sure what you're going to get, I'm sure they would have been fine, but they're rated, great, excellent, good, very good, fair, poor. So I looked at those. And then, I looked at the Sweetwater site, and they had new ones, but they were pretty darn expensive. However, they also had some demo ones. They're supposed to be in fantastic condition. But they were priceless. But the big thing was this: a 2-year warranty. Okay? And, you know, I got kind of scared because I had just ordered 2 different amps, used amps, right? And both orders were canceled. Why? Because there were problems with the amps. So that really kind of scared me. So I was thinking, man, if I can get a Bugera amp, and not only that, but with a 2-year warranty, right? I'll be at peace. I'll have peace of mind for those 2 years. Well, you can't beat that. And on top of that, free shipping. And that made the price difference very small. It was a little more expensive than the used one I had found, but not by much. I mean, we're talking, under $50. So I didn't hesitate, and I went ahead and went for the Sweetwater demo, right? Now it's a more modern version. It's the Infinium version, right? So the tubes should be in great shape. The whole amp should be in great shape. And the 2-year warranty is really fantastic. And listen, I used to not believe in warranties. You've always heard, oh, whatever you do, don't buy those extended warranties, right? Well, here I think it's a different story because, let me explain something to you. A while ago, I bought a TC Electronics Plethora X5, right? I mean, that was in the, $500 range, something like that. And sure enough, within, I don't know, maybe 3 months, one of the switches, the most important one, stopped functioning altogether. Luckily, I had bought it from Sweetwater. So they told me to go ahead and send it in. And it was covered under the warranty. And guess what? They sent me a brand new one. Well, that says it all, really. So those warranties are no joke in a way. And it's just peace of mind, when you spend that kind of money, even on a tube amp that is very, very inexpensive, right? I think it's well worth the price difference, and not to have to worry about it and know that it's covered, for at least 2 years, and for the price of these tube amps, if you can get 2 years out of them, that's great. Hopefully they'll last longer than that, obviously. But at least you'll have it for those 2 years guaranteed, And on a tube amp, which is fragile enough, but also a Bugera tube amp, they say, oh man, those overheat and stuff, and those kinds of things. So anyway, besides that, the one I was thinking of getting was in Maryland, and that's like some, 500, 600 miles away. So you got to take that into consideration. Whereas the one in, from Sweetwater was basically in the same state, Indiana. In fact, not too far away from me, about 4 hours, I think. So you can't really knock that. So I'm really thrilled. And not only that, the weird thing is, I ordered it, and the very next day, it had already shipped, free of charge, via FedEx, had I to pay shipping on top of that, you know, it would have made it a good deal, but kind of expensive. But with free shipping compared to the other one where I would have had to have paid shipping, you know. Now granted, I had to pay tax either way, but that's just, you know, the way it is, I guess. So I'm really thrilled. And by the way, hopefully, you know, Sweetwater, they usually include a little package of complimentary candy. Tastes so much better than regular candy. So that's really exciting. No, but really, in this case, you know, especially after my experience with the TC Electronics Plethora, you know, which I like, don't get me wrong, but the fact that Sweetwater honored the warranty, you know, and certainly, you know, sent me a brand new one, you know, so it really puts my mind at ease as far as making this purchase, you know, especially on an amp. You know, you don't know if the tubes are super old, or, you know, if it's been beaten up or something, or if it's one that overheats, like the claim is that they do. I don't know if that's really true, because I've heard the rumors, but I've actually never had anyone, or read even online, that they have experienced that, you know. So that may just be online folklore. I don't know. Maybe we just have to be in the camera, don't we? Okay, so anyway. Alright, so anyway, that's what I did, and luckily for me, they had a easy payment plan. I think it was like split into 3 payments, you know. So it was a bargain, really. And for these V22 tube amps, you know, 22 watt, all tube amp, it's a real bargain. I mean, at least for the clean channel. Now, I don't know about the drive channel, you know. Personally, if I use distortion, I would use pedals into the clean channel. So. But I mean, just taking a listen to the one I have, which is the older version, you know, it's just a great clean sound. what you can't see is that off camera, my cat is now in my face and is staring me down. And he won't stop until I give him a can of cat food, of course. So I'll have to do that here in a second. Alright, so anyway, this is kind of just to update you. And man, I can't wait to see what two of them in stereo will be like, you know, and what the sound differences are between the older version and the new version. I'm hoping not a lot, because I really like the old one. It just sounds great, and for the money, I mean, my goodness. You know, especially considering like a Fender Deluxe Reverb, which is a 22 watt amp, tube amp, is going for, you know, $1,400 new. You know, and these are going for like $400. You know, and yet has a similar clean sound anyway. You know, I'd say the Fender's a little sparklier. You know, but yeah, the Bugera kind of has its own sound, and it's a great clean sound. Takes pedals very well. You know, I just have nothing bad to say about it, except it's a little heavier than I prefer, but not by much. I mean, you can still carry it easily enough, you know. And for a little combo amp, it's great, you know. So, I guess I should receive this new Bugera with a 2-year warranty tomorrow. So I'm kind of excited. That is really great. And, you know, makes me think about when you see the prices of different tube amps, you know, realizing this is just a real bargain. You know, I hate repeating that, but when you consider the price of it, wow, pretty amazing. And it's real clean, no hiss or anything. You know, so in other words, it's not noisy and so on. You know. And we're talking clean channel here, you know. As far as the drive channel, as I said, I don't really use it, so I don't even know if it is decent or not. Alright, well, we'll continue this tomorrow, and hopefully the new Bugera will arrive. Alright, see you next time.